Okay, so let's talk about the weird situation that's going on between Newcastle and Liverpool. Now, I've already talked about how I feel about the idea of selling Isak in this video here, so if you want to have a look at that, you can see how I feel, because I'm not going to go through all that again. But basically, we're in a situation now where Liverpool really want Isak, and they've been watching us make moves for Ekitike, who we've been a long admirer of. We were trying to sign him back before he went to PSG, and then that kind of fell through. And now we've decided we're going to go for him again. And well, first of all, I'm kind of in shock that we are doing this move, because the rumor is that we are paying big money. I mean, we are smashing our transfer budget to buy this guy. And I'm kind of in shock that we are going to spend this amount of money on a single player. I guess we really, really want him. Maybe we have a crazy plan in the works where we're going to need this guy. At the start of the window, we were putting in bids for João Pedro, and obviously he's gone to Chelsea, so maybe that we've then decided that we're going to splash for Ekitike, but we're going to pay more money than we were willing to pay for João Pedro. I guess he's a better player, but I don't know, because he's not played in the Premier League. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving cogs going on in the background that I'm not privileged to, so I'm kind of in shock at this whole situation, to be honest. And while all this is going on, Liverpool are kind of sitting there in the background, staring at Isak, the fans all twerking to try and bring him over to Anfield, flooding social media with pictures of Isak in shirts. And so Liverpool have apparently contacted Newcastle and said, hey, if you want to sell Isak, we're willing to pay you a load of money. Now, first of all, the rumor is they've told us they're willing to put down 120 million. That is nowhere near enough. They just paid like 114 or something for an unproven midfielder from the German league. So the fact that you're offering like 6 million more for a proven Premier League striker, I mean, no, go away. That's a ridiculous bid, and we're not even going to entertain that. But we've told them point blank pretty much that we're not going to sell Isak. And now, whether they told us directly or they've put it out in the news, that because we're not going to sell them Isak, they are going to look into purchasing Ekitike. And it's kind of like the plot of some weird 90s high school rom-com, where sort of like, the mean girl is like, oh, I want your boyfriend. And then we say, no, like, oh, well, I'm going to go for your brother then. It's very weird. Like, how does Ekitike feel that he is the guy who Liverpool are using to get back at us? He's like getting used to make us jealous in some weird way. I mean, on one hand, you've got Newcastle United, who are really keen on bringing you to their club. They were keen on you in the past, and you went to PSG, and everyone can understand that, because you're a young French lad going to the biggest club in France. People can understand that. And now we're coming back in, and we're offering big money. And then you've got Liverpool, like some weird, jealous sugar daddy, who's like, well, I'm going to take you away from Newcastle because they won't let me have what I really want. And it's weird. Why would you go to a team like that? I mean, obviously money is nice. So if he went there, no one would be shocked by it. They are the champions of England. They'll give him tons of money. They are a big football club. So no one will be shocked by it. But still, like, when it's openly out there in the news that you are the side piece, you are the one who is basically being used as some like emotional make weight to try and get what they really want. So I would hope that Ekitike would look at this and decide, I'm going to go to Newcastle, because exciting things would happen with Isak and Ekitike, both at Newcastle. And it's kind of annoying, actually, just like going on a little side tangent here, that these teams who are kind of in the big six protected class that is heavily advantaged by all these PSR rules, I kind of just sucked it up and was like, okay, they're allowed to spend tons of money and we're not, but we're gonna be smart, and we're gonna like try and make good signings and try and like win that way, because that's what Leicester did. Leicester made good signings, and then they were able to win the Premier League. So maybe we can kind of like, it's not always the person that spends the most amount of money that gets to the top of the league. A lot of the time it is, but not all the time. But now it seems like these teams are actively leveraging their commercial advantage to weaken or take advantage of other teams. Like Chelsea, how many more players do Chelsea need? How many more strikers do they need at that club? How many more right wingers do they need? At this point, they're just buying people so other people can't have them. And Liverpool as well are just kind of this whole business of, well, if you're not going to sell us Isak, we're going to take Ekitike away from you. It's like, you're telling me you don't have any other options lined up? Or was it just the fact that, oh, it just so happened that the one you had lined up was the one that we had lined up as well? It feels like you should be a little bit more subtle in your movements when you have all this advantage from these like anti-competitive laws, and then you just kind of straight up go, well, we're not happy with just being able to outspend everyone massively. We are also going to go out of our way to make sure we screw the other teams as well, just to really make sure that we hammer home every advantage we possibly can have over them. It's incredibly frustrating. I mean, PSR in itself is an absolute joke, because it literally exists just to protect the top handful of teams who just so happened to be at the top when these laws were introduced. Because there are plenty of teams in England who've been successful in the past. It just so happened that these ones were in the ascension at the time that all these laws got brought in place at the right time, and that's why you have this advantage. I mean, it might be crazy. People don't know this. Newcastle United won the FA Cup 6 times before Liverpool won it once. Now, I'm not saying that makes us bigger than them because they've obviously won a lot of European trophies. You know, they are a massive club. And if you think Liverpool are not a massive club, then you don't really know football, I think. There are plenty of teams in England who have been successful in the past. It just so happens that there are some people who are in the right place at the right time. And now they are not happy with just being able to spend loads of money. They are leveraging their financial might to go out and screw or mess with the plans of other teams as well. When you are literally threatening other teams, going, oh, give us Isak or we're going to put bids in for the guy that you're after as well. I don't like it. I think it lacks class, if I'm honest. But really, we don't know that this is the actual situation. I mean, this is all just kind of paper talk and conjecture, so it might not be the case. But if it is the case, yeah, I think Liverpool could definitely stand to be a little bit more classy in how they're doing business. Because, as I said in my video about Isak, I think probably eventually we will have to sell him because we can't grow the club fast enough to give him the wages he will demand as he gets better and better. So eventually we will have to sell him. It's just we're going to do it on our timetable, not because you want it now, Liverpool. You're just going to have to wait. Just put on your big boy pants and just wait. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Goodbye.